out, kind of keep them somewhere that you can always refer to them. And if you have a very nice office like my own here, so you can just probably pin them on your notice board on your walls, that on a day-to-day basis you can be seeing them as you know move around your offices and whatever. So it's always a kind of a refresher for you as you probably go through your day-to-day activities. So today, let me just give a bit introduction about myself. Like I said, I'm engineer Fisayo Animasham Michael. Well, I have close to about 8 years in facility management, and I've been humbly enough to kind of go through to manage several facilities. I've done commercial, real estate, which banks, bank branches and the likes. I've done real estate, I've done residential, and I've done industrial facility complexes. I'm currently working with Max-Migold, majorly in facility technology and FM consultancy, and also training, so to say. Well, I'm still a young boy, and we are still learning. So today I'll be honored to kind of share my experience and how the journey has been so far with respect to facility management. So today we'll be going through what we term facility management organization. So what do we mean by facility management organization? For some of us who are probably having an engineering background, for some of us that have probably gone through an engineering background like myself, I studied mechanical engineering, and there's an aspect of engineering, we call industrial engineering, that we kind of look at how an organization is structured. And for some of us that have probably done a bit of research on what facility management is all about, we will see that there's a lot of similarity between what we do in facility management and what maintenance management and engineering is all about. It's still basically the same thing. And maintenance management and engineering is an aspect of industrial engineering. And what that is all about productivity, maximizing productivity, improving business processes relating to industrial complexes. And you can still apply the same principle to business organization, so to say. So when we are looking at facility management organization, we are looking at how do we structure a facility management with respect to how we carry out our facility management operations. So we'll be talking about the various structures, how they affect our various facility management operational flows. We'll be looking at various models in how you can probably arrange your facility management. And at the end of this lecture, you'll be able to understand what kind of model is my organization currently running, right? How do I, in the grand scheme of things, because you have to understand where you are in the echelons of things before you understand how decisions that are being made in organization, how it actually affects your work. You know, there are some places you work. Okay, I can, in my last place of work, I realized based on the organization structure and where I am, it doesn't really go in line with my career prospect and where I thought I am. Because there's a difference between having a job and where you are in your career path, right? If you are at a strategic level in your career path, if you are in an organization where the position you are in the scheme of things is probably at the operational level, you have problems, right? And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to kind of explain the whole idea of facility management organization. So basically, like I said, we have to go through understanding the various models deployed within the FM industry, familiarize ourselves with associated organization structure that enable the delivery of service excellence, right? Understand and comfortably differentiate between integrated from total. So I'll be explaining some of these concepts as we go along. So we have about 3 modules, no, about 6 modules in these lectures that explain different the various aspects of what we are trying to discuss this evening. So I'll try my best to break things down to a level where we can really understand and kind of apply what we are learning to what we are doing in our various workplaces. So levels and models of facility management organization. I don't know if we probably our previous courses talked about the different aspects of facility management levels, right? Where we talked about the operational level, the tactical level, and the strategic level. And if you are in facility management long enough, you probably will hear the word strategic, strategic management and operational management are one of the common keywords you hear often in facility management. The tactical is kind of not really that popular, and it is very important for us as facility management to understand these 3 levels of management in facility management. So what do we mean by when we say operational facility management? Basically, what we most of all, I would say probably 70 to 80% of us, basically, we are always trapped in what we call the operational level. You get your place of work. Oh, there's a broken bulb, you want to fix it. There's a broken tap, you want to fix it. There's one problem somewhere. So all the things we do on a day-to-day basis, operations are day-to-day activities. Things we do, the activities we perform on a day-to-day levels are what we call the operational levels in facility management, right? And I always tell facility managers, as much as possible, that we need to do these things, right? There are things we need to do on a day-to-day basis. But if you have people under you, empower your team to be able to carry out some of this stuff and move a bit up, because the higher you go, right, in the way you approach your facility management, the more valuable you are to your organization. I'll probably cite an example in my last place of work. Okay, I have these huge industrial plants, 2 production plants I was managing, and I have about 60-something housing units I was managing. And funny enough, we were only 2 in that department, myself and a facility officer I was working under myself. Then I have about 20-something cleaners because of the large span of space that we need to manage. And because of this uniqueness of this particular company, I find myself being always sucked into the day-to-day operation. But the funny thing about this is, if you get trapped in this kind of cycle of operation this, operation that, the problem is that as a facility management, the top management will not see your impact, right? They won't even appreciate what you are doing, because they said a bulb is broken, right? Yes, a big monitor like the electrician can fix that. So what's so special about that, right? That's not what they want from you as a facility manager. Yes, as much as possible that we want our light fixed, we want our tap fixed, right? That's not what I want you to do. I want more from you. So in an effort to address that, what I needed to do was to empower some of my cleaners and try to liaise with other departments to, I'm going to explain some of the strategy I use when we get to a section of this lecture that explain different models of facility management. So basically, operational level facility management is talking about day-to-day activities, right? What I do on a day-to-day activities. right? At all operational level. Now, when we talk about tactical level facility management, it's a bit of planning. So what I do on a day-to-day basis is a result of some level of planning I have done before then, right? So those level of plan, those things, those activities that involve planning, right? Okay, I'm scheduling for next week. We need to do, tomorrow, next week we need to do a plan for maybe maintenance of ACs, or we need to do deep cleaning by next month, or we need to plan for, we need to do maybe refurbishment of a particular apartment. Those level of high level planning, no, they are not really long-term planning, but they're a bit of short-term planning. Most of the time, between a month and a year, right? Kind of planning. We call that kind of tactical facility management, right? You want to do maybe a short project. You want to plan your PPM. You want to get a procurement for some level of bidding activities. You want to do your budgeting and the likes and the likes. You want to create your PPM schedules and the likes and the likes. Those are tactical level facility management, and it's very important for facility management professional at either supervisory level or management level to understand this particular level of management, because we discovered these are areas where, you probably find a facility manager who does not even understand what asset register is all about. Some doesn't even understand what preventive maintenance planning is all about. Some don't even know anything about budget. They are just spending money, right? Some have a budget probably handed over to them from top management, and many of them don't even know how to track this. All those kind of activity, tracking your budget, tracking your PPM, managing your stock level, looking at your tracking your performance, key performance indicator, looking at your SLAs, benchmarking your cost, what do you call it? You are doing a kind of quality checks on your vendors and the like. Those are kind of levels, those are kind of activity that goes into your tactical level of facility management. Then when we talk about strategic facility management, we are talking about plans that are actually long-term plans, mostly more than 12 months, basically, right? Although some people look at strategic management from 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years kind of planning. Yes, this is the level of planning where you are looking at the business. What's the business? Where the business is going? What is the business strategy the organization is trying to deploy? And you are using that to plan your entire facility management department. I have a very rapid growing company, and based on the strategy the company is adopting, the company is not interested in probably owning any physical facility, right? They prefer to rent, right? Can you create a strategy around that? Or probably your facility management organization prefer to probably buy their own facility. What is your strategy around that? Probably you look at the trend of your organization. Your organization is probably like 500 people, and there's a business case that was done, business strategic document that was prepared. There's an estimation that in the next 2 years or in the next 3 years, the population is going to double, right? As a facility manager at the strategic level, what are the key things you want to put in place to be able to meet the demand of your organization in the next 2 to 3 years, right? Do I need to do, what kind of spacing arrangement do I want to adopt? For example, COVID-19 happened in 2020. There was a lot of changes in organizational structure, right? There's a lot of changing in organization processes, organization operations, and the like. And when people, a lot of organizations probably went home, closed down the operations and the likes and the like. At the end of COVID-19, organizations were coming back, right? As a strategic facility management professional, you should be able to forecast ahead right? So because of COVID-19, a lot of things have changed. The way people do businesses have changed, right? What can you do? What kind of plan have you put in place to ensure that there's a smooth transition from the COVID-19 era to the non-COVID-19 era, right? So those are the kind of activities that goes into that kind of thinking, right? We are looking at your asset register. You discover there maybe an asset is going to be due for replacement in the next 2 years. What kind of plan are you putting in place, right? You are probably looking at your company financial statement, or probably reading a financial report and the likes and the likes. And you are seeing, oh, okay, there will be problems somewhere on the long run for financial cash flow. What kind of strategy can you deploy to ensure that you stay on course, right? You are looking at your team, and probably there are problems in your team, or they are having problems and the like. Can you see before those problems, right? Do you have a third eyes to see where things are going, and you can plan ahead and make necessary course correction as you go? If you look at these two triangles, they are very, very powerful triangles, and they are communicating a lot of information here, right? If you look at the one at the blue one, you discover that is the normal triangle, and it's talking about resources, people, and system. You discover that at the operational level, that's where you have a lot of people, you have a lot of resources, you are getting resources from the store, you are spending money, you are doing this. We have a lot of people at that level. At the tactical level, probably you have your supervisors, your managers, and the like. You don't have a lot of people over there. It's more of planning, not more of activity. At the operational level, it's more of activity. There's less thinking at that point. The thinking that affects the operational activity are done at the tactical level. Then the tactical level translates the strategic thinking into actionable short-term plan that can be carried out at the operational level. So the number of people you find at this level are lower, and the kind of resources, the number of resources they probably consume at this level is lower. Then when you get to the strategic level, you probably find 1 or 2 people at that level, maybe head of department, director of works, VP of operations, or operational managers and the like, where they interact with top management. But if you look at the other one, the inverted triangle, you discover that performance cost and efficiency, right? Strategic level has more impact on your performance and your cost. Like I said you can operate at the operational level, but at the top management, nothing will be felt. Nobody will appreciate whatever you are doing, because at that level, your impact to the overall performance is negligible. Because if you have a trashy strategic level management, and it's trashy, even if you try at the tactical level, you still have a very suboptimal performance at the operational level, even if you do everything that you are asked to do, right? Because there's less thinking there, and there's less visibility at the top management. And that's the reason why we have these two triangles, to let you appreciate where you are, and let you know where you should aim for. Every facility manager or every facility professional, irrespective of where you are now, you should always aim for the strategic level. That's the golden seat. That's where the decisions are made, right? So if you want to sit at the big table, you should always aim for the strategic level, right? Well, it's not something you start today and boom, you get there. There's a lot of efforts that you need to put in play, and part of those efforts is you being in this training today, right? For you enrolling into FM diploma is one of the decisions you have made towards your career development towards the strategic level in FM. So let's continue. Like we said, we have different types of facility management models. Just a minute, I need to move this my control a bit down. Okay, so I can see. All right. So So, like I said, facility management organization models, we have several models, and we begin to think what kind of models we have, right? Some of us are probably working in an organization where we are just admin, maybe admin officer, admin managers, and we discover that we are the one calling the AC contractor, we are the one managing diesel, we are the one managing generator, we are also in charge of the cleaners, the people cutting the grass, we are also in charge of that, and the likes and the likes and the likes. And although we are not being recognized as facility managers, professionals, but we discover things we do on the day-to-day basis are quite similar to what a typical facility manager would do. So basically, we have about 6 models in facility management organization. We have a customer-driven facility management, which is mostly for a high demand services, right? Organized into business units, custom service, fast response, review linked to customer objective. This kind of facility management organization is what we find in big organization. Okay, for example, if I have an oil and gas, for example, given the kind of fast-paced environment and different kind of business units, the kind of activities, the kind of facility management model they are going to deploy in those kind of environment will be customer-based, right? I can remember when I started facility management back then in 2014, we have a contract with Chevron, yes, and this facility management contract was focusing on the catering services for their offshore staffs. It was a tailor-made, customized service, right, to a particular location. Are you getting my point? So in those kind of activities, in those kind of organization, the kind of facility management model they are kind of deploying will be custom-based, based on a business unit or a customer. And when we say customer, we're talking about the staff of the clients, right? Where we're talking about the staff of the client. What do they need? What kind of service do they want, right? If you probably go to some organization that's okay, just give us security services. Now, there's another model of facility management, what we call, like I said earlier on, you find yourself in an organization where you are just maybe an admin officer or an admin manager, a logistic manager, and you discover that you are doing a bit of facility management. Some even call them office manager. This is the kind of facility management model we'll find in a single list facility where, oh, I'm working with Johnson & Johnson Limited, and they just have maybe a 2-bedroom flat office space in Yaba. That's where they are running their entire thing. And you, as the admin person, you are the ones to ensure that the office space are clean, we pay our NEPA light, we pay all the necessary charges, ensure that the generator are working fine, we ensure that the security are doing their bit and the lights. This is the kind of model we run. We discovered in those kind of activities, you discover that most of your in-house facility services are contracted out. When there's a plumbing issue, you'll be the one to call Baba Mutiu, that come and probably fix the plumbing. If you have AC issue, you have to call Baba Shola to come and help you service your AC. You get, if you have maybe an aluminum, whatever, you have to call Baba Ngosi to come and help you screw back the aluminum. So in that kind of system, right, you don't have facility team, right? You probably outsource. Some might probably have a kind of a multi-skilled technician that can do a bit of small repairs around the office and probably still double as an office messenger, right? But the scope or the function of that is of that kind of model is a bit limited, right? Because you are not doing much of strategic facility management. You are more on an operational level where your own is something has broken, fix it, right? Nobody expects you to do a lot of thinking. So if you are starting your facility management at that level, it's really not a bad thing, but you should be looking for opportunity in other organization where you can probably have opportunity to practice more, do more of planning, do more of thinking. You are involved in budgeting, you are involved in planning, you are involved in a lot of project management and the likes. The third model of facility management we have is one location, one site, right? This is mostly applicable to organizations that have their own building, right? I'm working for an insurance company that doesn't have multiple branches. They just have one offices, and that building belongs to them. They are in charge of the entire building. It's not a rental, whatever. That is what we call a one location, a one site. It can also be an hotel, a single hotel. It can also be probably an hospital. It can be a school. Those are single location, one site kind of stuff, right? In those kind of facility management, depending on the size, right? I can even say, yes, it's a single location, is owned by whatever, but it's not big, it's just a bungalow office or a small duplex, whatever. The kind of facility services you're going to render, that kind of whatever, will be somewhat similar to what you have in an office management kind of model. But in a location where you have probably a multiple story building, kind of maybe an hospital, for example, right? You have a full service facility management in those kind of operation, and you can have a system where you have most of your services done in-house. You have your plumber in-house, you have an electrician in-house, you have your AC technician in-house. You can also outsource, but you might probably have one or two people, especially your electricians and your plumber in-house, because to increase the rate of response to services internally. Depending on the size of the facility, you might have a facility manager and probably a supervisor, cleaning supervisor, technician, head of technician, and the like. So it depends on how big the particular facility, the building is. And you can have probably specialized services, specialized contractor for some of your specialized services. Maybe you have a mechanical generator, for example. It might not make a lot of sense for you to have a generator technician or generator engineer internally. So those kind of services, you might want to outsource them out. You might have a CCTV. It will make sense to have a CCTV engineer in now. You might want to outsource that out, and some unique equipment within your premises. We also have what we have a one location and multiple sites. When we talk about one location and multiple sites, it's more common with banks. Right? In Nigeria, GTB Bank has probably their head office on the island and have bank branches across the country, right? That's one location, multiple sites. In that kind of, I remember when I was in Standard Chartered Bank, we were actually operating this kind of model. As at then, I was managing 30 bank branches from all the way from their head office. I have branches across the country. We also have similar model with MTN contract that we managed back in those days. So basically, you have a single location with the management team, right? There at each site, you have maybe a supervisor and other staff, right? Where strategic level decisions are made at the head office, and tactical. So those plans are sent to different locations based on what has been decided, and they leave the each site supervisor to translate those strategic information into tactical plan that can be executed at the operational level. And if you can see what is on my screen, you discover that the headquarter control strategy and funding, where food is decentralization, but not economically warranted. So what we are trying to say is that at the head office, like I said earlier, strategic decisions are made, strategic plans are set in motion, then you let people at the site level to implement based on their unique local conditions, so to say. For example, in banks, in Standard Chartered Bank, for example, it is very the looks and feel based on the company strategy is very important to them, and that's the reason why that they kind of paint their office premises almost on a regular basis. That's if you go to any Standard Chartered Bank offices, it's always white, right? But when to paint and how to paint is left at the site level to decide, right? They probably decide based on availability of funding because they have a particular budget they are working with. Some of them based on their operational flexibility and the likes and the likes. You have the same model with MTN. MTN as an MTN office with a strategic developed. Then at different MTN offices across the country, you have to translate that strategy into actionable plans that can be operated. Then we have the multiple location or regional or divisional led. Like this usually unique to large and dispersed organization in one country. So where we kind of apply this basically is where you have you might have an organization where maybe they have regional offices, right? Apart from the local offices, you have regional head offices, where at the main head office, you kind of develop a broader strategic scope that align with the entire organizational business strategy. Then you push some of that broad scope, that broad strategy to the regional office or the regional head office. For example, in MTN, they have what they have. They have the Southwest office where they have an head office. You probably get to maybe South, you have an head office there. You probably get to Southeast, you have an office there. You get probably to North and North Central, you have an office there. Each of those regional offices control all their activities within the region. So they can decide how they want to approach each of the activities. They can decide which of the strategy coming from the head office they want to implement based on resources and what they are trying to achieve. Also, industrial organization that have maybe industrial plants across the country. For example, Olam, for example, have different manufacturing businesses across the country in different regions. Dangote has almost the same kind of arrangement too, because if you look at it, they have private cement factory somewhere. Currently, we have the oil and gas business here in Lagos. You don't expect them to deploy the same strategy they are deploying for their cement business for their refinery business, or probably the same business with their private agricultural business, because each of those business units runs independently, and the business strategy for each of them is different, which means because of the difference in business strategy, those strategies is going to affect the facility strategy you are going to tailor to that particular region. Are you getting my point? So when you have an organization where they have different business units that operate independently, right? If you want to kind of adopt a facility management model, you have to use multiple location kind of model in those kind of organization. Then we have what we call multinational organization model. This is mostly applied to organizations that have operation in multiple countries, right? Due to due to the uniqueness of different countries, different laws, different building codes, different cultural differences and the likes, it is not possible for you to have a single facility management strategy deployed across locations. So in those kind of situations, if I probably be conversant with facility management, we will have here, oh, is the regional manager for East, or is the regional manager for West Africa, for example. Oh, is the regional manager for facility management Middle East. I think companies like GLL is an international facility management. If you probably take some time and go through their LinkedIn profile, you see some of their staff, oh, regional head for West Africa, kind of whatever. This kind of organization run this kind of model where a strategy is tailored towards maybe a particular country or probably a group of countries. For example, if you have a facility contract that cut across several countries in West Africa, right? Probably I have some within East Africa. I'll probably deploy 2 regional heads, one for facility management West Africa, facility management East Africa, because we can find a bit of similarities within some countries in West Africa compared and similarity between countries in region. So I can see deploy similar strategy at that level, right? And probably further tailor it down to different countries, because okay, in South Africa, in West Africa, we probably have English speaking country and French speaking country. So you might still want to kind of break it down to address those peculiarities of those regions. So like I said, those are just some of the facility management models we have in the sphere of facility management, and each one of them is tailored based on the size of your facility, the location of your facility, in terms of is it a regional location, is it a country based, or is it a multinational kind of operation? Moving forward, so basically you said, so we have talked about a lot about, oh, what kind of model do we need in facility management? What kind of structure do we need in facility management? But for you to decide or determine the kind of organizational structure to apply or to adopt, you need to understand what your facility management is all about. It is very common in facility management that a lot of facility managers do not really understand what they are there to do. Yeah, I'm a facility manager. What is your role? We fix generator, we do AC. If plumbing stuff has issue, I'm the go-to person and the lights and the lights. And that's it, right? We can't think strategically. We don't know what the company is talking about. We have no clue which direction the company is going. And I keep saying this. This is one of my key phrases in facility management. You cannot manage what you don't know. You cannot manage what you don't know. It's not possible for you to manage what you have no clue about. And that's why it's very important to understand, to have a basic knowledge of your facility management. And to do this, we have 6 key factors we need to consider. One is the business requirements. And when we are talking about business requirements, is what is the organization need? I am working for a manufacturing company as a facility manager. What do that company need from me? How is the company performing? Right? What are the constraints? So we talked about business driver. When we talk about business driver are those things, are those factors that affect the profitability of my business. Right? How is my company making money? What are the things that make the company make money? What are the companies spending money on? Those are business drivers. Those are things that affect the business. And as a facility manager, you have to understand what the business drivers are. because it will let you understand when the company is making money and when the company is not making money, right? Your company cannot be in debt and you are still struggling financially. And that's when you want to change the chiller that is 50 million, right? They'll just look at you like you are crazy, right? Your company is struggling, and that's where you want to propose to the organization, let's go and buy building. You have our own facility. Are you get? So understanding your business driver will let you know when you can put some requests forward, or when you can know what, okay, let me look for alternatives to manage the situation pending when there will be availability of funds. One of the key disadvantage we face as facility managers or facility management professionals is that facility management is a cost center. That is to say, we spend money. We don't make money for organization. Facility management spend money. So most organizations, when they hear about facility management, at the back of their brain, or the tumbo, they want to come and ask for money. And that's the reason why in organization, if you are not strategic enough, right, your request will always be the last to be attended to by top management, because, oh, that guy is always spending money. We'll deal with him when we have time, right? So that's why you have to understand what are the cost driver, what is the unique need of the organization, what are the constraints, what are the planned business changes. Like I said, if you are in an organization where your organization is planning an expansion, right? As a facility manager, you have to understand those business changes, and you have to understand how you can, make provisions ahead. Oh, my organization has 500 staff, and they are projecting in 2 years' time it's going to be 1,000 staff. What do you need to do as a facility manager, right? In my previous organization, there was a construction going on at the moment before I left, and they were kind of trying to double their production capacity, which means new staff will be coming. There will be new offices. When I was doing my budgeting for the following year, even though I will not be there, I knew at that moment I will not be there anyway. But I have to put that business changes into consideration to propose maybe new ACs, new chairs, increase my team, propose the need to add new technicians to the team so that we can we'll be able to respond to requests faster and the like. That is what planning for the business changes. You have to also look at expenses reduction. One of the things that most facility management lack and is helping organization to cut costs. But when you are cutting costs, you have to cut costs reasonably. I find it very funny in my practice where I've worked with some bosses where you give them quotation that, oh, we need to do something and this is the cost. And you yourself have gone through that course, have done all the due diligence, and you have been able to save costs for the company. But just because they want to show to top management that they are saving costs, right? They still want to cut that money down, even though the cost cutting they are doing is illogical, right? They still want to cut it and they don't care. Just go and sort it out. So if you end up buying inferior goods, they don't care. They just want to show the top management, at least let me show top management that, oh, I've removed 5,000 naira from what you are requesting for, right? It doesn't make sense. So when you want to save costs, because there's some point where you save costs now, but in the long run, it's more what we call penny wise, pound foolish, right? You are trying to save 2 naira. At the end of the day, the 2 naira you are saving will cost your company 100 naira on the long run, because you are trying to be too smart for your technician, and your technician also being a guy man went to buy a substandard product because, the original cost probably 50 naira, right? And maybe the fake cost maybe for 30 naira. And the guy came and proposed 50 naira to you. And because you want to show management that, I want to save cost, you cut it to 45 naira, right? And you say the guy must sort it out, figure it out, do something, go and buy it. I need to show the management I am saving money. Okay, no problem, Oga will buy it. Maybe you just to buy it. You need to shop 15 naira and went to go buy you the fake one for 30 naira. It will solve the problem. But in the long run, you will still come back to the same problem. You still have to spend another money. I have a similar problem back then when I wanted to buy a particular tap, but my boss refused. Then he ended up giving us the less money, and we had to buy a inferior goods, a inferior tap. We end changing that tap almost 3 times. And if you had the cost of changing that tap for 3 times, the cost is enough to buy one original tap. So that's one of the problems you are going to face when you are not logical with the kind of decision you make, right? We talked about IT plan. In my own view, in most facility management setup, the facility manager might not really be involved in IT plans, so to say, because some organizations have their internal maybe IT manager or IT expert that handles that aspect. But as a facility manager, it is very important for you to understand what is going on and how you can probably support the IT team, because if you understand the IT plan, you can know if I need to make additional provision for maybe lighting point and the likes, maybe provide backup power supplies and the likes and the likes. You have to understand the business requirement, constraint, technology utilized. So those are some of the key things you have to understand about your business. Then going back to what we call site data, what do you know about your site? Do you know the address? Do you know the total square area? Do you know the total square footage? Do you know the number or the type of occupant? How many people do you have in your organization, right? How many occupants do you have in total? Do you understand, is the facility owned by your organization, or is it a rented apartment? What is the number of operating hours? When do you resume? When do you close? Right? The type of space, what kind of, is it an open office or a closed office? What kind of operation do they perform? What kind of customers are served, right? Because you have to understand some of these things. If I'm working in an hospital, right, the kind of facility management services I am going to offer in an hospital is different when I'm working in a morgue. Yes, as a facility manager, you can be a facility manager in a morgue facility. Yes, you are managing facility of dead people. You get that kind of facility is unique because we are probably dealing with you are dealing with sensitive material, you are dealing with dedicated maybe cooling equipment and stuff like that. So in those kind of facilities is unique. If I'm working in an oil and gas facility, it's a different ballgame entirely. If I'm working in a power plant, for example, it's a different ballgame entirely. So you have to understand your site. You have to have basic knowledge of your site to understand the kind of facility you are handling. If I'm working in an industrial plant with a large parcel of land, which means when you supply the building, you have a large areas of land where you need to be managing the what they call it, the gardening. The kind of operation you're going to apply in that kind of facility is different. If I'm managing an airport, for example, it's a different ballgame entirely. If you are managing a mall, for example, ShopRite, Maryland Mall, Ikeja Mall, and the likes and the likes. The kind of understanding that basic understanding, having a basic understanding of your site, will let you understand what kind of model, what kind of services, how to approach For example, in Ikeja, for example, Ikeja Mall probably resume as early as 8 a.m. and the site is as busy as anything to late in the night. So if I'm a facility manager in that kind of space, the kind of strategy and the kind of organization arrangement I'm going to have will be a different ballgame to a facility manager probably managing a bank or managing a rented one 3-bedroom flat kind of an office. So understanding, so when we come to services, like I've said, understanding your data, understanding your business will inform you the kind of services, facility services to provide. Should you be an in-house facility? Is the facility being provided by the landlord? Is it provided by a service provider? The current service provider details, what is the organization chart? What is the current staffing? Is it in-house? Is it outsourced? The current contract terms? What is the service level agreement? What is the statement of work? Special requirement data center, C-suite. When we talk of C-suite, we're talking about top management, right? Fitness centers and the likes and the likes. In some banks now, especially head office, I think I learned GTB are now offering daycares for their staffs, right? So if I'm probably moving from an organization, it may be a bank that does not have this kind of service, and I'm moving to a bank that has this kind of services, I have to understand that the level of the service required in that facility, in that bank, is quite different from the one without a daycare. Right. So understanding the service requirement in your organization will go a long way in understanding the kind of models and the kind of approach to apply. Then we talk about cost, right? Understand your facility management cost is very, very, very important, right? Understanding what costs money will let you know where to save money. Because if I don't understand what I'm spending money on as a facility manager, how should I save money? I won't even know how to budget, because understanding your cost will let you know, oh, how can I budget? Where am I spending money? Where should I reduce costs? How can I probably move funds from one service to another to ensure balance? You have to also understand your accounting requirement, right? It's very important. There are some organizations that have accounting code. And when you are spending money, you have to post those money in the right accounting, so that when they are probably doing their financial statement, they'll be able to know, allocate funds in the right account statement to have a very good whatever. So it's very important for you to ask your organization. They are working in an organization, talk to your maybe the accounting department or your finance department to understand the accounting system and the various cost centers or the account code the organization is using. Every organization has this kind of system in place to allow them post different costs. For example, I have a chiller system, for example, in a manufacturing company. I can't track the cost of that chiller, and every cost you spend on the chiller, there's a way the account department tracks it, and the way they track is by you when you are probably requesting for funding or whatever, and you are posting your transaction, you have to post it in the right accounting code. If not, the cost will be wrongly allocated, and there will be a problem when you are tracking your budget. Also, like I said, it is very important for us to track our performance, either as in-house staff or the contractor. There's something we call key performance indicators. It lets us know how well we as facility professionals or our staff or our contractors are performing in respect to what we promise, the services we promise our clients that we are going to deliver. It's already very important for us to have information about the customer satisfaction index, which we always get from when we perform customer survey to understand the customer perception about our service. Oh, are they happy? Is the room temperature okay? What do you think about our services? Is our response time very okay? And the likes and the likes. We also talked about service delivery model. What kind of workflow are we using? I was discussing with a client last week. We were discussing about the cleaning services we were proposing to them, and I was saying that because your organization is an industrial complex, and there's a lot of dynamics in your operation. We are kind of proposing that during the night, when most of the administrative staff have gone home and we have maybe few or little production staff, we would like our cleaners to kind of clean the entire space so that in the day when staff are coming in and the like, we will not need to go into their various offices to try to clean so that we won't disturb their operation. We only focus on common area like toilets or probably lobbies area where there's a lot of foot movement, and we kind of clean that place in such a way that it's kind of improve our service delivery. So understanding the service, so understanding your organization will let you know the kind of service delivery model or workflow you want to apply. You have to understand your work order backlog. I'm not sure if you have done something on PPM and maintenance management strategy. We'll have probably talked about maintenance backlog, where it's a kind of a register where you kind of put maintenance activity you ought to do, but you cannot do them because of various issues, because the time is not right, even though you needed to do them, but well, resources are not available and the like. So those kind of activities, you keep them in your maintenance log and you revisit them as condition changes, and you can probably, for example, now if I'm probably working in a bank and the AC is due on a Tuesday, right? Because of the peculiarity of the kind of stuff they do in a bank, I might not be able to carry out that AC maintenance. I might probably wait till Saturday to carry out the AC maintenance. In the bank, probably I want to do painting work. You don't expect, I will not be expecting a painter to paint my bank branch on a weekday when I have customers coming in and out and people moving around. I'll probably expect them to delay that job to probably the weekend. Then there are sometimes, you want to do it, the staff are there, but there's no fund. Management have not approved the needed fund for us to carry out. You move that kind of job into your maintenance log. Then we have compliance, concern, employee unions, communities, and the likes and the likes. As a facility manager, you have to understand the kind of environment you are, the kind of if you are working in Niger Delta, for example, as a facility manager, the kind of approach you are going to use is super different when you are working like in Lagos, or you are working as a facility manager in the north. The kind of approach you are going to understand is quite different. You have to understand the cultural practices. You have to understand some of the norms. You have to understand compliance. You have to understand maybe unions, and the kind of industry, for example, you work in is also very important. There are some industry where you have trade unions and the likes and the like. So you have to pay attention to some of these issues as a facility manager. So let's move forward. What are the components of organization structures? Basically, we talked about, when we are talking about components of organization, not yet. When we are talking about component of organization structure, we'll look at the structure, the culture, centralization, chain of command, span of control, line of staff management, functional, own or lease, spatial, differentiation, standard, specialized service, relocation. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to run through this so that after we will go on break before we continue the stuff. So when we are talking about components, like I said, the kind of organization you are working in will determine the kind of model you approach or the kind of facility structure you are going to have. And you discover that when we're talking about structure, culture, we are talking about the organogram. How is the organization structure? right? Where are you as a facility management in the scheme of things? What kind of culture are they using, right? What is the prevailing, what is the mission statement? What is the vision statement? What is the core values and the likes and the likes and the likes? So understand these are key ingredients to your facility management model, right? Understand the structure, understand the culture will let you know what kind of organization structure you want to deploy. Also, with like initially I talked about a kind of a decentralized model and a centralized model. Understand the level of control. Like when we are talking about 1 minute, when we were talking about multiple location, one location and multiple sites, we talked about decentralization of facility management operation. So this kind of, so understand if your organization is kind of operating on, especially when you have a multiple location kind of organization structure, you want to understand, is the organization running a centralization or a decentralization, right? What percentage of centralization, what percentage of centralization are we running? What percentage of decentralization are we running, right? What level of control do I have as a facility person? Well, we have what we call chain of command, right? Understand the structure of the organization will let you know how the information flow from top to bottom, right? Where am I in the scheme of things? Who are my boss? Who is the boss of my boss? How does that translate to how decisions are made in the organization? We have what we call span of control. Span of control is talking about, okay, I'm a facility manager. How many people do I have control over? How many subordinates? How many supervisors? How many technicians do I have? You know, how many people do I have to work with, right? It's talking about span of control. We have staff management, which is also it's a form of chain of command to let you know how the structure is being arranged. Oh, we have a manager, we have a supervisor, we have an officer, we have a technician, and like and like. You have what we call functional or structural versus matrix model approach in facility organization. This is kind of straightforward, right? What we're actually talking about is something like this. In a structure or a functional organization model, for those some of us are kind of familiar with project management, we talked a lot about this in project management, where you have a kind of a straight line approach where we have probably the MD, you have the general manager or the directors. From there, you have the managers of different procurement managers, IT manager, account manager, facility manager, purchase manager, and the like. And under each manager, they now have their respective staff. For example, in facility management, I have a facility supervisor, I have a facility officer, I have maybe a cleaner supervisor, technician supervisors, and the like. All these people report to me, right? Those is kind of where another manager cannot call my supervisor and order them to work without coming through me, right? Because that is my span of control. So in an organization that runs this kind of approach is running a functional or structural organization model where every line has a functional unit, a functional head, a procurement manager. That procurement manager is in charge of everything procurement, and everybody working under him or her is involved in procurement. Somebody from IT cannot come and call them to come and work, right? They will need to get a permission from the procurement manager before they will do that. But when we talked about the matrix model use what we call a flat approach, where we can have that same functional whatever. But okay, for example, I was citing an example in my last place of work where we have a facility management department, myself and a facility officer. We don't have any technician, but because it's a manufacturing company, they have a maintenance department, right? In the maintenance department, they have a functional units, mechanical, electrical, and they have different technicians under them. Now, I can borrow technician from their hand, bring into my own department to work, right? In that kind of in a matrix organization, a staff is usually, I might have more than one boss that they are reporting to, right? They are reporting to a boss under their functional unit and probably reporting to another boss in another functional unit, right? More like you are sharing a staff, right? So in that kind of arrangement, what we did basically is to say, okay, you know what? Because I understand that you guys also need the technicians, the plumber in your production unit. Can we have a kind of arrangement? Give me those technician and plumber on probably on a Monday, and maybe Monday, on a Wednesday, and on Friday. Then you can have them on a Tuesday, on a Thursday, and on the Saturday, and probably Sunday, right? I just need them for those. So on those 3 days, they report to me. They don't report to the head of electrical or head of mechanical, who are the functional head of those units, right? They report to the facility manager, right? And other days, they report to the other person. So in that kind of arrangement, we are able to convert the functional unit into a matrix kind of organization where we have the same functional unit, but staff within each functional unit can still work with another functional unit, can still report to another functional head. So in that kind of organization, we call it a matrix type of an organization model. Now, so we have a own or lease option. Like I said, the kind of organization structure I'm going to adopt as a facility person is a function of, oh, do we own the facility or is it a leased facility? Because if it's a leased facility, almost all your facility services will probably be handled by the landlord, which means we have less services as a facility professional to manage. Most of the time, you probably just manage landlord relationship, where you manage maybe payment of lease and some statutory payment, and just manage that relationship. And when probably there's service failure, you'll be the one to liaise with the landlord to ensure that service is restored. We have spatial differentiation, how your organizational space is being arranged, where we're talking about space management. Where is it an open office? Is it a closed office? What is the spatial arrangement? We talked about, is it a standardized service or is it a special service, right? If you are working in a nuclear plant, for example, and the facility management, oh boy, that is a special service. It is not a standard service like when you work in an office environment. Then your organizational structure is also will determine if there's a relocation or shun, right? When we're talking about movement management and facility management, this also affects the kind of organization structure they're going to adopt. So before we move, let's just take about 5 or 10 minutes break, and after that we come back. All right. So we have talked extensively on organization models, component of organization structures, and the likes and the likes. So now we want to look at what we call the traditional or the in-house versus hard and soft services. When we talked about traditional or the in-house delivery model, what we're practically talking about is we are doing the facility management in-house. We are managing our facility management. That is to say, internally, we have the facility manager, then we have the facility team, the technicians, the cleaners, and the lights and the lights, and they are carrying out. So here we have the strategic level. We have the management, the procurement, the account, the audits. You can also have the facility manager at this level, depending on the organization. Then we have the tactical level, where you can also have the facility manager, who is also the client. So we put the clients here, which is also which is the demand organization, and they are also at the tactical level. Just to tell you that the entire services is done by the internal staffs. Then we have the on-site facility team, and they are responsible for the service delivery and the like, which is the operational level, where we have the people management, which is the HR, the finance, which is the account, the procurement, the health and safety, project manager, and tactical, which are responsible for translating the strategic plan into a short-term plan that can be implemented at the operational level. So going forward, we have the authors, the add and soft operation. For some of you that have been in FM for a while, you probably have heard about, oh, hard FM, soft FM. What is hard FM? What is soft FM? Right? The short answer to that is any facility management processes that inform some level of technicality or engineering in its delivery is actually always classified under the RDFM approach, where every other services like customer services, security, janitorial services and the likes, catering services, mail services, and the likes are actually classified under the soft service FM. So when we have a situation where that two aspect of the FM is kind of so instead of having a single facility manager, you have the soft service manager and the hard service manager. Both are still from the same clients, and the soft FM manager is responsible for delivering of soft services, while the hard service manager is responsible for delivering hard services. Each one of them can have subcontractors, so to say, that help them to handle specialized services, and they can have what they call internal staff too, that they are using to run their services. We have what we call the service site-based FM, which is referred to the particular site where we want to deploy the FM the FM services, and you can have you can tailor our practical plan to those sites with respect to the site's requirements. So we'll be going forward to discuss what we call integrated facility management. Some of us will have been probably will be hearing the word integrated FM. So what is integrated facility management? This kind of model is where the clients, right, get bring on board the service of a facility management company and bundle the entire facility management service and outsource it to them. For example, we as facility management company, Max-Migold, let's assume we are being approached by MTN, for example, to manage their facility. So they will bundle the entire facility management services and ask us to implement. In that kind of services is what we call integrated facility management. Although in that kind of arrangement, you still have the facility manager, the client, which is the MTN, fully involved with their facility strategy because they have facility managers at the strategic level who will plan out their entire facility management program, do a lot of forecasting and the like. But the facility management company will be involved with the tactical and the operational level. And as you can see, you say integrated facility management is a model that bundle FM services and outsource them to one or more facility management organizations who act as intermediary between the clients and the actual service providers. So what we were trying to, if you go back to where we have the traditional, so in the traditional, you have the clients, who is at the strategic level, still have the clients at the tactical level, and they manage their operational delivery. This operational delivery can be subcontractor, might not really be internal staff, might be subcontractor. But if you add a variation to this, where at the tactical level, we have an FM organization, right, to manage the tactical planning and the operational delivery. This operational delivery will typically be subcontractor. For example, MTN employ a service of Max-Migold, and MTN has a generator contractor, an AC contractor, maybe a firefighting contractor, they have a CCTV contractors and the likes and the like. And when they bring Max-Migold in to manage those services, Max-Migold will now be the one in charge in managing all these contractors, the generator and the like, and report back to MTN. That kind of arrangement is what we call an integrated model or an integrated facility management approach, right? It can be a one facility management company managing the entire portfolio, or some can even split it. Like if you look at the hard and soft FM approach, you can discover that a client can decide to say, you know what, I'm giving the soft services to one facility company, and I'm giving the hard services to another facility company. For organizations that have multiple locations, they might decide, okay, you are giving maybe Southwest to one facility company, you are giving Northwest to. So, irrespective of the particular model they are employing, based on the kind of organization model they are driving, right? It still boils down to an integrated model. If the facility services, which is at the tactical level, is being outsourced to a facility professional or a facility company to manage. So it can be a single sourcing or a multiple sourcing kind of arrangement, like I discussed earlier. So you can bundle the entire facility management service, give it to a single provider, or you share it among multiple providers. I think we have a similar approach to one of the bid we submitted some time back, where the clients wanted to split multiple locations among different facility managers, although we had to turn it down because we felt like it would have been better, more profitable for us to be given the entire portfolio instead of giving us piecemeal. So it has its own advantage and it has its own disadvantage. So you have to look at what your organization is trying to achieve to know if a single sourcing or multiple sourcing will be the best approach. This kind of approach to facility management service provide opportunity for cost saving because at that point, you can focus on more important issues and let the facility management deal with the day-to-day operational issues. It improve operational integrity, minimize risk, drive operational excellence, because you are bringing experts. Plus, facility management works with multiple clients, and they are probably been doing it for multiple years, so they have field experience that they can bring into your facility operations. So they are specialists in their own right, and they can bring a lot of improvement and the likes into your facility operation, and it's going to drive what we call operational excellence. It will improve processes because of their years of experience, they're going to bring a lot of standard processes into your operations, standard templates, reporting templates, and the like. They will introduce best practice and improve business continuity. Decision must be based on the FM provider capability, geographic reach, ability to leverage spend and drive, consistency of program, processing system reporting, edging against risk of single contractor failure, ability to needs to extend multiple perspectives. Now, I've actually explained this earlier. I said when you are bringing a facility provider, you want to outsource your service to a facility provider. We are doing this because you believe the facility provider has capability, they are more experienced, they know about the processes, they can bring best services. And so when you are making, if you probably involved in facility provider sourcing during the procurement stage, where you want to decide which kind of facility manager should we, or facility management organization should we engage, you have to look at their capacity. What have they done before? Have they managed a similar facility in the past? Where is their geographical operation? Because it won't make any sense for me to give a facility management operation contract to a facility management company who have majorly operate in Lagos to go and manage a facility site in the north. They're going to have problems, right? You have to look at the financial capability of the facility company. If they have a spending need in the whatever, can they spend and get paid later, right? While you are trying to manage your cost and your finance, what kind of system, what kind of process there, what kind of reporting template and the like, and like. So those are some of the key things you have to look at when you are picking a facility vendor. Like I said, if you look at this, you discover that this is just a variant of what we have earlier on, right? This one is called managing agent approach. You discover that you still have a client. Then if you compare it to, so in this particular approach, like I said, is if I have at this statistical level, when I bring an FM facility management company into this, we kind of tweak the model to give us what we call an integrated facility management model. Going forward, there's a bit of error on this slide. Where you have these clients, it will be, instead of a client, it will be a facility management service provider, not the client. The client will be at the strategic level, where we have the facility company managing the site team and the likes, then delivering the service, operational service. Then there are two aspects of that. There's a two variations to what we have, what we call, we have also what we call the principal contractor. This approach is also similar to, it's also an integrated facility management approach, but in this approach, there's a bit of a tweak to it, where the facility management company, okay, so this particular approach, like I said in the other approach, the clients as contractors that they have signed agreements with, generator contractor has an agreement with MTN, AC contractor have an agreement with MTN, then MTN are employed Max-Migold as a facility provider to manage their contractor on their behalf, right? That's the one we call management agent model. Then the principal contractor model is where MTN does not have any relationship with any contractor. They just tell Max-Migold manage everything. So Max-Migold will now go out there to look for different contractor, generator contractor, and have a third-party agreement with them. in that way, MTN has no business with generator contractor, has no business with the AC contractor. The only business they have is with Max-Migold, who is the principal contractor on the site, right? So it will be a kind of a single source of communication between the client and the facility provider. So this kind of approach is just a variation to the normal integrated facility model that we discussed earlier. Then we have a self-driven or what we call a total FM approach. It's still kind of a variation to what we have. But in this approach, the client, the facility management company is, sorry, somebody needs to mute his mic. Somebody's mic is on, please. So in this total facility management, there's a bit of it's more like a variation of the principal contractor model, where but the facility management company has a lot of influence at the strategic level, right, with respect to delivering. So it's more like you are delivering end to end in facility management, from the strategic down to the operational. So you are not being limited to the tactical level, right? You have a bit of strategic input into the entire facility management delivery. Like we said, the major driver of integrated facility management is finance, people, customer, services, and process. When we talk of finance, we're talking of cost reduction in operation, providing service at competitive pricing, leveraging spend within region and globally to achieve best-in-class pricing, right? The reason why you want to probably use the integrated model is because, for example, I am a facility management provider, and I'm managing MTN, I'm managing Airtel, maybe I'm doing UBA and the likes. And because I'm managing several contractors, there's likelihood that the price I'm going to give you will be a competitive price, because probably most of my purchase will be done in bulk. Because of that, the unit price of some of my consumable will be cheaper compared to, if I'm going to buy on the, I'm buying maybe a smaller quantity and the likes. And because I have several operations, several sites, I can probably use lesser people to manage multiple sites based on proximity, meaning that the cost of labor also is going to drop. Because of the large sense of my operation, there's likelihood I'm going to get specialist services or specialized professional, expert professional in different areas, and we can actually leverage on their knowledge to tackle different issues in different client sites without the need of the client trying to get their own specialized professional. They kind of provide best support to your organization and maintain safe workplace. It improves customer satisfaction because we provide excellent operation, and because of that excellent operation, it's going to increase customer satisfaction, enhance customer productivity to serve as a business enabler, improve service delivery quality and response time, does not compromise service quality and delivery, and not adverse impact. So what we are talking about here is that when you are looking at the integrated facility management model, the impact to the customer is you are likely not going to have business disruption, right? For example, if I'm a facility management company and I probably am managing my facility management in-house, I have my technician, my AC technician, my electrician. Anytime my electrician is sick, I will have a problem internally because the technician is not available. But if I probably outsource my facility services to a company, a facility management company. There's likelihood that they can easily look internally and give me a replacement for each technician. So in that case, it kind of helps to manage business continuity and reduce business disruption. Service enhance, okay, so it's the enhanced oversight and delivery of service because of their expertise, their knowledge over the years. They are able to create they are able to provide this operational oversight on your service delivery and kind of improve the quality of service you probably get out of the service. Meet company expectation and standard and provide flexible and scalable model. Like I said, because of they have been in the field for quite some time and they have multiple clients they are servicing, they are flexible enough to move maybe staff out of a site if there's little need for them, and they can easily readjust and probably bring more staff in if there's a demand increase in services. They can improve your internal processes and promote innovation, reduce management complexity, promote consistency of product processes and control reporting, provide wider access to marketplace, best practice knowledge and sharing across sites, enhance use of system and technology, and reduce the impacts on environmental health and safety. So moving forward to the last aspect of it, so we'll be talking about total facility management. Some of the benefits we'll be looking at as all the equipment or services are outsourced to one company to deliver directly. We have talked about this initially. We said total facility, just the variance of the integrated. But when you talk about total facility management, we are talking about a single sourcing approach to facility management. One of the benefits is less skills or knowledge to procure, which means as a company, we are not responsible for procuring all the specialized services we needed to run our facility. It's cheap and one invoice. That is to say, I'm only paying one company to handle all the services. It's not that I'm paying this vendor, that vendor, that vendor. I'm doing multiple contract negotiation. It's just one contractor, one invoice, one negotiation, and everything sorted out. Ideal for small organization with no in-house skill. It's always advisable for organization where the knowledge of facility management is very low to outsource their services to a more experienced facility management, so that on the long run, they help them to, their internal staff can catch up on the long run, right? And there's a lot of learning curve that will be probably gained as time progresses. Service components can be at the right quality level for its area. Service component can be changed at any time. Give you that flexibility. Oh, I want this service, I don't want that service, because you can procure services based on your need, right? Because you are dealing with one customer, you're not dealing with multiple customers. Management component can be brought back in-house without losing any of the service components. Like I said, the total FM, right, have a bit of the can also interact at the strategic level, and the client can decide so you know what, we want to do the strategy. You just focus on the tactical level and run the operation for us while we manage the strategic level. It should achieve the best value for money overall. Some of the limitation is management may be poor, difficult to terminate an unsatisfactory component package, especially the management, insufficient incentive for outsourced management to reduce costs, right? Everybody wants to make business, so even your outsourced company wants to make business, so there might be low incentives for them to reduce their costs, and that's some of the problem we have with total FM. required significant skills and knowledge to achieve successful results, and especially at the management level, because whoever is in charge of managing the facility management company to ensure that they deliver success, it is very important that the person is skillful to manage service level, KPIs, and the likes and the like. It is probably not suitable for those who just want cheap price. If your interest is cheap price, please don't go for total facility management, whatever, because it's not cheap. Startup information requirement. If you want to start up a facility management department, or you want to start a facility management operation in your organization, what are the requirements you need? You need a vendor list used, you need a vendor contract. So this information is very important for new facility management that are getting into a new organization. When you get employed into a new organization, what do you need to get started? The first information you need is your vendors list. What are the vendors the organization have? Who are the AC vendors, the generator vendors? You want to know the contract, the binding contract between the organization and the vendor. You want to know if there are leased property. You want to look at the lease agreements. You want to add your landlord contact information that you can always interact. You want to have financial data, which is account statement and the like, if you have access to them. Utility bills, so you want to know if they are outstanding bills. If there are not outstanding bills, you want to look at the energy consumption rates over the month or over the years, to know if to look at the trend, to look at opportunity to save money. You want to look at the accounting requirement. What are the accounting code? What is the accounting system they are using? You want to look at the IT requirement. What kind of IT system do you have in place? You want to look at your organization charts to understand the kind of organogram they have in the organization. You want to have the site information, available drawings. You have as-view drawing, architectural drawing, maybe engineering services drawing. You want to know if they have service level agreements, equipment list, which is your asset register, maintenance record, building codes and regulation, permits, key contact and emergency number, police, firefighting, and the like. Incident report procedure. If there's probably an incident, an accident, a fire, how do you report? Emergency response plan. If there's a problem, what is the procedure? Then you want to have the business continuity requirement. If there's a problem, what is the business continuity plan put in place? Then you want to understand the fire and life safety program in your organization. If you are transiting into integrated facility management model, you need to understand the business unit, what the business unit needs, right, to change. And so the business unit needs to understand the change and what's the difference under. So for example, you have the facility management you are running internally, and you want to transit from that internal to outsource staff. You have to have a kind of a communication with all business units to let them understand what the transition is, what is the change, and how it's going to impact their operation. There should be a strong communication plan to cover the pre, during, and the post-transition period. The facility management, the integrated facility management service provider to establish staff requirement and organization structure, fill open position, provide required orientation and training, knowledge transfer from acquired or incumbent staff. So as the facility management service provider, you have to provide staffing require. How many staff do I need? Or how many cleaners, how many facility managers, how many technicians do I need? Do I have them internally? Did they have them internally that I can make use of? Or do I need to recruit? You have to provide a kind of orientation and training to staff. Then you have to look at the incumbent staff. what kind of knowledge do they have? What kind of information can we extract from them? What kind of information do we need to, which is part of your training requirement? You have to finalize the contract. You have to perform due diligence. If you are the internal staff, internal facility professional, you have to do due diligence. You have to create a subcontractor contract if you are managing your subcontractor directly. But if you are not managing the subcontractor directly, and probably a facility company, and you are the one doing managing the subcontract, you have to come up with a subcontractor contract, set up a technology or service desk for those that will be employing maybe a CMMM solutions and the like in their operation, establish the communication plan, set up accounting and operating procedure. That means we're talking about having a facility management manual, develop a risk mitigation plan, right? That means you have to have what they call a risk register. In that risk register, you have to identify all your risk, all your operational risks, and come up with plan to mitigate. So if this happens, what can we do? If can we remove this risk? If we cannot remove it, what can we do to mitigate the risk? Obtain detailed information and record about the operations. This one is talking about having record of the operational past operational processes. So what are the major drivers for integrated? Why do people want to go into integrated facility management? To reduce costs, to streamline operation and simplify processes, to improve operational efficiency, to improve service delivery, reduce management complexity, drive consistency across portfolio, gain economic scale, leverage spend. When we talk about drive consistency across portfolio, that is, if I have 10 locations and I'm using an integrated facility management, I'm sure that the level of service delivery across locations will be the same. Enhance ability to share information across location and across discipline. Introduce best practices, improve global deliverable, improve data technology and reporting, drive continuous improvement and provide a more flexible, scalable and delivery model, understand how to plan an orderly transition. So in summary, various levels of facility management organization and model through which they are deployed. We have talked about traditional in-house model. We have talked about integrated model and major driver. We have talked about total facility management transition from total to integrated and major to drivers. We have talked about functional and matrix model. So I believe I've been able to do justice to some of the information. So the floor is open for 1 or 2 questions before we call it a beautiful day. Any question, please? Question, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and the likes and the likes. Okay, you can unmute your mic. You can unmute your mic, please. Abdul Samuel.
Hello.
Yes, I can. I'm with you.
Yeah. Thank you for the lecture. My question is, usually when you've explained a lot about the dynamics of each organization. What if you get into an organization and you find it difficult to fit in? That you're supposed to be at the managerial level and deprive you of the information that you are requesting for or the access that you need to have. What should you do as a facility manager there?
Technically, you can't fight your organization, right? And you have to make do of what you have. But like I said, your career is very important. And when you discover that the level you want to operate on is not the level the organization wants you to operate on, which means there's a there's a disagreement of purpose, one of the key things you need to do is to start looking for another job. There's no two ways to it. I have a similar experience too, and what I did was I looked for another job that is in line with my level of experience and the level of where I want to operate on. It's not something I don't. It's not a kind of a harsh decision, right? You still have to operate within your cycle of influence and the level of operation. A lot of facility management find themselves in that kind of situation, and they are fighting the organization. It doesn't work like that. There are some times that you find yourself in an organization, you want to operate at a strategic level, but you are being kept at the operational level. There are two approaches to it, so to say. Well, the faster way to it is get out and go to another place. But the another approach to it, if you are patient enough, right, and you started, so you can find yourself in an organization where your job does not involve strategy, but you go outside, you go out of your way to provide strategic input, right? They want to do a budget. I've done a spreadsheet of what the cost outline is, and I'll probably give it to my manager. It makes the life of my manager easy, which means on the long run, he or she will start delegating some strategic level jobs to me. And if your line manager is a very good person, you start giving you visibility to the top management, and they start seeing you. And once they see the kind of value you are bringing on board, right, there are likelihood that they will start giving you that flexibility you need to express yourself fully. Most of the mistake a lot of facility managers have is that you are operating at an operational level, but you want the organization to give you recognition at the strategic level. It doesn't work like that. You have to work your way to that level. But if you know that I am operating at a strategic level, but the organization or your line manager is deliberately trying to keep you down at that operational level, my brother, find your way. Thank you. Hope I'm able to answer that question.
Yes. Why did you leave Stanbic IBTC?
Stanbic IBTC. No, not Stanbic IBTC. I was in Standard Chartered Bank.
Standard Chartered, sorry.
Yes, I was working with a facility company, not really the bank, right? So it's more like an integrated kind of model where the bank have about 3 contractors and the likes and the likes. So I left because I have a problem with the internal working of the company I was working with, right? The way they were running FM. We have a kind of differences in principle. I am of the opinion that facility management is all about saving costs and providing value for money to the client. But my organization is more interested in making money any way possible. So they want to probably 45 documents just to prove to the bank that they are working, whereas we are not. So I have that kind of problem with them. So I needed to, and I discovered that I will not grow. So one of the key things you have to pay attention as a facility management, when you are working in a facility management company, what kind of operation do you do? How do you do? What's your process like? Is your process in line with best practices? Because if you are doing man-no-man kind of facility management, right? You are just doing let's add this one to this one, right? You are cutting satin, you are adding it to lace to make cloth, cotton, so kind of facility management. You are not going to grow. You are going to spend 10 years in facility management and you will not know anything because you have not been doing it rightly. So, and that's why I said in facility management, as much as possible that you want to put your best, all right, and work in an organization, your career is very key. So when you're working in an organization where they are not following best practices, they are not doing what they are supposed to do, and you're like, this is not how facility management should go. My brother, even if the money is good, please move, because you will tend to appreciate when you work in an organization that are doing facility management the way it ought to do. Because when you find yourself in other organization in job interview and they're asking you some key questions, right, you'll be able to answer. You find yourself some facility management professional have been in the field for 10 years, 5 years. You ask them what is asset register, they don't know. You ask them how do you make an asset register, they have no clue, right? Can you develop a PPM schedule? They have no clue, because in their previous organization, they are not doing it. Are you getting my point? Some don't even know what a drill is all about. Are you getting my point? No. So some don't write report. They don't know. What they will do is just they say, oh, your client say go for facility management inspection. You don't go there, but you sit down in your office and you come up with some data and you present it as your report. That's not how to do facility management. Which means if you find yourself in an organization where the inspection needed to be done with real data and you present your result, you will flop. Or probably somebody asks you some question, you will flop. So one of the key reasons why I left was facility management process was not done well. Then I did not have feasibility to decide. I was being restricted to manage operation virtually, and I was like, no way. I want to be on the side. I want to do exactly what is going on the side, which is going to help my own facility management development, right? I can't just be typing email and be taking call. I'm not a clerical staff. I hope that answered your questions.
Yes, thank you very much. So now, lastly, what do you advise those who want to pull out and start their own facility company?
Ah, man, that's a trouble water to dive into, right? It's a very trouble water to dive into. But there's one advice I would give. If you want to pull out and start your facility management, start by providing at least one facility management services, right? Start from, oh, maybe you want to provide plumbing services, right? Or you want to provide maybe generator services, or try to avoid management for now, because management is a bit tricky. If you don't have enough network or have enough track record in the field, you will struggle. But if you probably provide a singular service, maybe security, catering services, cleaning services, or plumbing service, all those, just focus on one area. You specialize and you are good at it. You will use that to build a brand for yourself, right? Then as you grow in the industry, you can now be adding more services and be expanding when a lot of customers have know they are into maybe generator operation there. Okay, now we are now doing ACO, or tomorrow we are now running security. So it is always very important. Start from small, focus on one key services. Then as you grow, you add more services to it. That's the best way to go. But I would not advise you to just pull out, right? If it's possible, if you can manage by running that specialized key services as a side hustle while you are still maintaining your full job, right? So with that side hustle, you can be using that to increase your customer base. When you know that you have enough customer base to run on your own, then you can pull out and pursue that as a career. But jumping into the industry like that, you can be in the industry for 2-3 years, you won't get a single contract. So that's how crazy the industry is. But if you start from focusing on just one services, build your reputation over years, and gradually increase your scope of services, that's the best way to go. Hope I'm able to answer your question.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Any other question before we call it a day? Our time is fast spent. All right, I will just assume we are all good. So we call it a day. Good night, everybody. We'll probably see you on Wednesday. Thank you.
Yeah, good night. All right, thank you, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir. Good night, sir. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank you, sir.
Thank